Good morning, children. Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Who is this Ishan Patel? Is he in bio? Ishan Patel. Do we have any Ishan Patel in biology? No, no. What did we do yesterday? Toxicity of?
Micronutrients.
Very good. There was one question which I told you. We should remember. Tell me what was it? Someone remembers? Any one of you?
Manganese produces brown spot.
Yes, yes. Very good, very good. Manganese. Good. So, toxicity of elements. And one more thing. The symptoms, deficiency symptoms depend upon
Mobility of element.
Mobility of elements.
very good. Name two elements which are mobile and can easily move.
Nitrogen and
potassium.
magnesium.
Very good. So the symptoms will be found in senescent leaves or young leaves.
Senescent leaves.
Leaves.
Good. And two which are not mobile.
Sulfur and calcium.
Sulfur and calcium.
Okay. So the deficiency symptoms will be found where?
Younger leaves.
Younger leaves.
Yes, the young leaves. Very good. The minimum amount of nutrients without which a plant cannot survive and grow. What is it called?
Critical concentration.
Very good. It is called critical concentration. Okay. That minimum amount which is needed without which a plant cannot grow properly is called critical concentration. Yesterday I had posted the notes of mineral nutrition. If you want, you can use them as it is, or you can take them for help as a reference and prepare your own notes. Okay, beta? Toxicity of micronutrients we have done. This I have already done in the previous chapter, absorption of elements. Okay. Apoplast, symplast, you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
This we have already done. Only this line we need to do. This I had already done apoplast, symplast, passive process, active process. Only this line. The movement of ions is called flux. Okay, when ions move in a plant, the movement is known as flux. If they are going into the cells, we call it as influx. And if they go out, then it is called as efflux. Just read the last two lines. How do minerals move in a plant? We have already discussed in detail. Okay, by the process of symplast and apoplast. So that we are not taking up again. However, this is a word for you, flux. What do you mean by flux?
Movement of ions.
Movement of ions.
Yes, and if the ions move inward, it is known as influx. What is the word, beta?
Influx.
Flux. Okay, remember this. And outward movement, if they're going towards the soil, then it is known as efflux. So please remember both the word, three words, flux, influx, and efflux. Now we'll move on to translocation of solutes. We are talking about the translocation of what now? Solutes. Mineral salts, we know they are transported through xylem along with the ascending stream of water. Minerals move with what? You remember the word sap? Sap is what? Water plus minerals. So water, along with water, what also travels in a plant upwards? A scent of sap word I gave you now.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is sap? Water plus
Mineral.
Minerals.
minerals. And we also said the water movement is unidirectional or multidirectional?
Unidirectional.
Yes, unidirectional. Is it upward or is it downward?
Upward.
Our
So minerals are moving with water and water moves upwards. That means your minerals are also going to move. What is the direction of the movement of minerals? Obviously, it is going to be which side? Upwards only, na beta? So minerals also go along with water in a plant to upwards direction. And this, if we check out the constitution of sap, if we check out what is sap made up of, we will see that water and mineral salts. What is present in the water? Mineral salts. If you take out any drop of sap from the xylem and check that what is the sap actually made up of, you will see that it is water plus it is, what is it? And how can you check this? If you do the analysis of xylem sap. Analysis means what? What do you mean by analyzing? What is analysis, Bachchi? Any idea? Analyze karna means to check out, to find out, or to do some research on something. So if we do analysis of xylem sap, we will find the presence of mineral salts in water. Remember this, minerals always move with water only. Use of radioisotopes of mineral elements also substantiate the view that they are transported through the xylem. Now we wanted to prove this, that minerals move along with the water in the xylem. So we did an experiment. We took radioisotopes of mineral elements. We wanted to show that yes, these mineral elements travel through xylem. So we put radioisotopes. What is the special quality of radioactive elements?
Ma'am, they release radioactive rays like gamma, alpha, and beta.
Yes, they will always emit out rays. Very good. So we are wanting to prove that minerals also travel along with water in the xylem. So how did we do this? We actually inserted some radioactive elements in water in the soil. So when plant took water, it took that radioactive element along with it. When water is going up in the xylem, along with water, that radioactive mineral was also going. How was it proved? It was emitting those radioactive radiations. This proved that the radioactive element which we had added in the soil has now reached the xylem of stem. First, it must have reached the xylem of roots, then xylem of stem. What are we trying to prove, children? That solutes, that is minerals, always travel along with what? Water. They always
Water.
travel along with water along the xylem only. We do not have any separate mechanism for transport of minerals as such. They move along with water. And the method we have done earlier, how apoplast implast. Soil is reservoir of essential elements. Most of the nutrients, beta, which are essential for the growth and development of the plant, where does the plant get it? Of course, the plant absorbs it through roots. And roots, they get it from where? From the soil. Now, where do these minerals come in the soil? We have done this that yes, whenever the plant is going to take minerals, the roots will absorb it from the soil. And we know that soil is made up of what? How is soil made? Weathering of?
Rocks.
Yes.
So weathering of rocks is a continuous process. This process keeps on making the soil rich with both ions and inorganic salts. Weathering continues, small pieces, small mud, clay keeps on, and the soil continues to add on more and more amount of minerals. We know, beta, that all the minerals are basically derived from rocks only. Now they have a very important role in the nutrition of a plant. Okay, so this is what we call as mineral nutrition. What is mineral nutrition? Getting the minerals from rocks and the plant using it for nutrition. That is the name of your chapter, mineral nutrition. Plant is going to use minerals for nutrition, but where are the minerals going to come from? Now we said the plant gets its nutrients from the soil. The soil is a very important factor, beta. Why is it a very important factor? It not only gives minerals to the plant, but it also is a home to, it's a residence or it's a very comfortable home for nitrogen fixing bacteria and other microorganisms also. So there are so many things the soil is doing. Number one, it is providing nutrients. Number two, it's a residence or it's a home for which kind of bacteria?
Nitrogen fixing bacteria.
Which are very useful for the plant.
Nitrogen fixing
Yes,
bacteria.
they're very useful for the plant. Other kind of microorganisms also. It holds water for the plant. It supplies air to the roots and it acts like a matrix that stabilizes the plant. What is a matrix? What is matrix? Matrix to stabilize the plant. What does this
Ma'am,
line mean?
understood.
Yes, beta. Tell me this sentence, what does it mean? It acts like a matrix to stabilize the plant. Hmm.
Some kind of support.
Yes, stabilize means support. But this word, it acts like a matrix. What does this mean? No doubt you've given the correct meaning that stabilize means to make it stable, to support it. But what do you mean by this sentence that it acts like a matrix? Yes.
Matrix is a
Ma'am,
liquid.
matrix is a dense homogeneous substance.
Yes, the plant has this material inside it. What is this? It's a very dense substance. What do you mean by dense, children? What do you mean by dense?
Heterogeneous.
Actually, beta, matrix in case of plants is very, very fine grains of rocks. Okay, very, very small pieces. So in the soil, you have small, small pebbles, small soil particles, small pebbles also. So it acts like a very dense material. And if it is a very dense material, it will hold the plant very tightly. So it keeps the plant very stable. We also know that there is a deficiency of essential minerals. Obviously, the crop production will go down. So if the soil does not have minerals, we supply them through. Supposing in your field, the soil is now deficient of minerals. So the plant growth will be affected. So what will you do?
Ma'am, we
Fertilizers.
Fertilizers.
Yes, very simple. Macronutrients and both micronutrients, they are components of fertilizers. So as per your need, you can get your testing of the soil done. If the soil needs macronutrients, you provide macro. If it needs micro, you can give the micronutrients. Giving you a minute to read soil as a reservoir of elements, then I'll ask questions from this paragraph only. Quickly. Simple chapter, beta. Are we ready? Are we ready, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Most of the nutrients which a plant needs are already present in the soil. And which part of the plant actually absorbs these nutrients for the first time from the soil?
Root.
Yes.
Rooted.
Very good. Very good. Now
Root
deriving,
hairs.
very good. Deriving the minerals from the soil through the rock and using the plant, the usage of those minerals by the plant is known as, what is the name of your chapter?
Mineral nutrition.
Mineral
Mineral
nutrition.
nutrition.
Soil contains a variety of
Substances.
substances. Can I have three important functions of the soil? Three important role of a soil in the life of a plant. How is the soil so important for a plant?
Soil
Yes.
supplies minerals and contains nitrogen fixing bacteria and other microbes and stabilizes the plant by acting as a matrix.
Very good, very good. Which kind of bacteria? Basically, to name, because they're very important for a plant.
Fixing bacteria.
Good, good. Now, if there's a deficiency of nutrients, what is the option left with us?
To use fertilizers.
To use fertilizers. Can we provide macronutrients through fertilizers?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And if we need micronutrients in our field, supposing micronutrients are deficient, then can they be substituted by fertilizers?
Yes, ma'am. Both can be substituted.
Very good. Both can be substituted. Name three important macronutrients.
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen, potassium.
Yes. And three micronutrients.
Iron, zinc, and manganese.
Copper.
Yes. Very good. So we have just learned the importance of soil in a plant's life. We are moving on to this now. Next topic, nitrogen cycle. See, beta, we know carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are the most important elements. But apart from CHO, nitrogen is also very, very important for living organisms. No doubt, CHO are the most important ones, but nitrogen is also one of the very important elements for nutrients now. Sorry, plants. Nitrogen, why a plant needs nitrogen? Because nitrogen is a very important part of amino acids, proteins, hormones, chlorophyll, and vitamins. These five things, all of them contain nitrogen. Come on, tell me. Nitrogen is a very important constituent of name.
Amino acids, protein.
Yes.
Proteins, hormones, chlorophyll,
And
and
vitamins.
The
Plants, they compete with microbes for the limited nitrogen that is available in the soil. Now, the problem is that the amount of nitrogen in the soil is very limited. It is not much. Who the plant has to do a competition for getting that nitrogen? See this word? Microbes. So there is going to be a competition. The amount of nitrogen in the soil is very less. So who is going to compete for that nitrogen? Number one is plants. Who else needs that nitrogen?
Microbes.
So nitrogen is a limiting nutrient for both natural and agriculture ecosystems. So whether you have a agriculture farm or there is a natural garden or a park, in both the kind of ecosystems, nitrogen will be a very important nutrient, limiting nutrient. Whichever plant is going to get nitrogen, it will grow. The one which will not get will not be able to grow. So it becomes a limiting factor. So what we are trying to say is the amount of nitrogen in the soil is too much या कम होता है या बहुत सारा nitrogen dissolved है soil में. How much nitrogen we have in the soil? Less or more? See this word?
less.
less
What is the word we have
Less.
used? See this word?
limited.
Limited.
Yes. The nitrogen is very limited and both of them need it. Plants also need, so there's a competition between plants and microbes. So we said that apart from carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, there is one very important mineral which is needed by the plants, and that is
Nitrogen.
why do we say nitrogen is so important? Why are we saying nitrogen is so important? Because it's main constituent of 5 very important things. Which 5 things?
Amino acids, protein,
Amino acid.
Proteins. Yes, I got 2.
Vitamins.
Yes, vitamins. And
Chlorophyll and some vitamins.
Hormones, chlorophyll.
Very
Hormones. Chlorophyll.
so one thing we have understood very clearly, that the amount of nitrogen is limited in the soil, and there are so many plants, there are so many microbes. So there is a tough competition to obtain that nitrogen between the plants and the microbes now. And because it's a very, very important factor, so it becomes the limiting factor, whether it is a natural ecosystem, matlab a natural park or a garden, or it is your agricultural field. In both the ecosystems, nitrogen becomes very, very important. Remember, children, what is the formula of nitrogen? Tell me. Chemistry, what is the formula of nitrogen?
N2,
N2. So that means how many molecules are there?
2.
2 molecules. You just told me that the formula of nitrogen is Arey, what is the formula of nitrogen, Becha? You just told me. Ab kya hua? Speak again.
N2.
N2. So how many atoms are there?
2 atoms,
2 atoms of nitrogen, 1 atom of nitrogen, 3 atoms of nitrogen, and that's what I'm asking in one molecule. How many are there?
2 atoms.
2 atoms are there, na beta? So that is what I was asking you. Remember this, there are 2 atoms. Now, let's see, if there are 2 atoms, then what difference does it make now? Nitrogen exists as 2 nitrogen atoms joined by a very strong triple covalent bond. Have you done a bit of bonding in class 9, 10th?
yes,
What is a covalent bond?
ma'am, in which sharing of electrons are there?
Very good. What is the other bond that we have?
Ionic bonds,
Very good. So if nitrogen molecule is formed, you people just told me there are 2 atoms. And between these 2 atoms, which kind of bonds are there?
covalent,
Yes. Now this nitrogen keeps on converting into ammonia. What is the formula for ammonia?
NH4,
NH.
Ammonia, not ammonium. Look at this.
NH3.
NH3.
Yes, it's NH3. Ammonium is NH4 and ammonia is NH3. Now this process in which nitrogen keeps on converting to ammonia is called as nitrogen fixation. Is it clear for everybody what is nitrogen fixation? Nitrogen
ma'am.
nitrogen converts to what?
Ammonia.
Ammonia.
Ammonia. Now what happens in nature, beta? We have 2 things. Now energy is needed now basically. So there are steps in this. Understand the steps. First of all, 2 things, lightning and UV rays. Which 2 things? Which have a lot of energy?
Lightning and UV rays.
Yes. I'm starting the process of fixation by these 2 things because these 2 things have a lot of energy. Number 1, lightning. Number 2, UV radiations. Now they give energy and they convert the nitrogen to oxides of nitrogen. What 2 things we are starting the fixation process now, which have a lot of energy? One is lightning. Second
Lightning
is
and UV radiation.
yes. They give this energy to nitrogen. Nitrogen gets energy, so it can combine with oxygen now. As soon as nitrogen gets energy, it starts combining with oxygen. So oxides of nitrogen are formed. Where did the nitrogen get the energy from?
and ultraviolet radiation.
Very good. Through lightning and UV rays. So what is the nitrogen used the energy for? The nitrogen has used this energy to combine with oxygen. Now, when it combines with oxygen, beta, three kind of oxides are formed. If it combines with only one atom of oxygen, this is nitrogen monoxide. It's combining with two atoms of oxygen. You know this, NO2. What is it called?
Nitrogen dioxide,
Nitrogen.
Yes. And what is N2O?
dinitrogen oxide,
Very good. Dinitroxide. Industrial combustions. What do you mean by combustions? What does the word combustion mean?
combining a substance with O2.
Anything when it reacts with oxygen and burns. Burning in the presence of oxygen is basically combustion. So in the industries, you have a lot of processes, that is combustions. You've got forest fires. You've got the exhaust which comes out from automobile industries. You have power generating stations, means where electricity is produced, are all sources of atmospheric nitrogen oxides. So all these places, you're going to get these oxides of nitrogen. Decomposition of organic nitrogen of dead plants and animals into ammonia is also called ammonification. Now understand this line. Now, all animals and plants have nitrogen, yes or no? Do we have nitrogen in our body? Or we don't have? Just now I told you 5 things which are an important part of nitrogen. What were they?
Yes.
You have
Amino acid,
vitamins in your
two
body. Yes,
vitamins,
Peter, you've got amino
protein.
acids, you've got vitamins in your body, you've got proteins in your body. So that means you have nitrogen in your body or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All organisms, whether they are plants or animals, they have nitrogen in
Yeah.
their body. Now, what happens is whenever these organisms die, whether it is
Fine.
plants or it is animals, the process of decomposition starts. Okay? And this nitrogen, which is present in the dead bodies of plants and animals, starts getting converted into ammonia. This process is called ammonification. There should be no confusion between nitrogen fixation and ammonification. Atmospheric nitrogen, inorganic nitrogen, when it is being converted to ammonia, we call it as nitrogen fixation. But organic nitrogen means the nitrogen which is present in the dead remains of plants and animals. When that is being converted into ammonia, what is the process called as?
Ammonification.
Ammonification. I'll just be revising it.
Ammonification.
Now, whenever there is death of plants and animals, there are proteins, vitamins, amino acids. So there's so much of nitrogen in the dead body. Decomposition process, the decomposition of dead body starts, and that nitrogen is gradually converted into ammonia. This is called ammonification. Now, what happens to that ammonia which comes out of the dead bodies? Some of this ammonia, it volatilizes and re-enters the atmosphere. What do you mean by volatile? Volatilizes? Volatile?
Highly reactive.
So it is highly reactive, it is volatile, it will become vapors, gaseous form immediately. So this ammonia goes back into the atmosphere, some amount of it. But very little amount goes back to the atmosphere. Most of the ammonia which is produced by the dead remains is converted into nitrates by bacteria which are present in the soil. What is it converted into?
Nitrates.
Okay. Now let us revise this paragraph. What are the important terms? A molecule of nitrogen contains how many atoms of nitrogen?
2 atoms.
Very good. What kind of a bond exists between 2 atoms of nitrogen?
Covalent bonds.
Covalent
Very
bond.
covalent bond. So there are 2 kinds of nitrogen, organic nitrogen and inorganic nitrogen. What is the difference? What is the difference between inorganic and organic nitrogen?
Organic nitrogen is found in the bodies of animal and plant.
Very good. Very, very good. Now, Both organic and inorganic nitrogen convert into ammonia. So when the inorganic nitrogen converts into ammonia, the process is known as,
Nitrogen fixation.
Nitrogen fixation.
okay. Let's talk about what is happening now. In nature, there are two things which have a lot of energy, which is absorbed by nitrogen. Tell me.
Lightning and UV rays.
Very good. So the nitrogen takes this energy from lightning and UV rays and uses this energy to combine with
Oxygen.
oxygen. So three kind of oxides are formed. Number one is NO. Tell me the others. NO.
NO2 and 2.
NO2 and 2.
Very, very good. Now, this is one source how oxides of nitrogen are formed. This is one method, beta, how oxides of nitrogen are formed. Nitrogen is getting energy from UV rays and then it combines with oxygen and it forms oxides of nitrogen. However, there are other sources also of oxides of nitrogen. That is, what are the other sources? One is forest fire. Other sources are? Tell me, what are the other sources? One I told you is forest fire. Power generating
Automobile
station.
exhaust.
Very good. And more sources?
Industrial combustion.
Industrial combustion. Very good. So there are two ways by which oxides of nitrogen are being formed. One is a natural process in which nitrogen is taking energy and it is automatically on its own. We are not doing anything. Man is not involved anywhere. Nitrogen on its own takes energy from this lightning, UV rays, and it combines with oxygen and it forms three types of oxides. However, there are other sources also, like you told me, combustion in industries, power generating stations, they also release nitrogen oxide. So this is one way. Another way out is that all organic substances contain nitrogen in their bodies. So after death, when the dead bodies start decaying, the organic nitrogen which was present starts converting into
Ammonia.
ammonia. Now, after the dead nitrogen is being converted into ammonia, two things happen to this ammonia. Little amount of ammonia goes back to the atmosphere, but most of the ammonia is utilized in what? Is converted into?
Nitrate.
Yes. And who converts this?
Bacteria.
Soil bacteria.
Yes. So ammonia is being converted into nitrates, okay, by soil bacteria. See this. First of all, see, this is your ammonia. It is combining with oxygen. So we will say ammonia is being oxidized. For the left part, when ammonia is combining, NH3 is ammonia, this is oxygen. So ammonia is combining with oxygen. We will say ammonia is being oxidized. What is happening to ammonia? Oxidized. What will you say this process, beta, combining with oxygen?
Oxidation.
Oxidized.
Okay.
And you will get nitrites. NO3 hota to nitrate hota. But this is NO2. So the first step is very simple. Ammonia combines with oxygen. So you can say ammonia is being oxidized to nitrite. And who is going to do this? Bacteria. There are two main bacteria who do this. That is Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus. Please name the bacteria which oxidize ammonia to nitrite. Name the two bacteria quickly.
Nitrosomonas.
Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus.
Even if one is present, this process is possible. Sometimes both of them together do this. What are they doing? They are oxidizing ammonia to nitrite. This is the first step. Now this nitrite which is found, again it is getting oxidized. Can you see? Combining of oxygen is again oxidizing. Now this nitrite which is formed, okay, is again getting oxidized over here. See this? Here now nitrates are formed. So ammonia se directly nitrate nahi banega bache. First, when ammonia will get oxidized, nitrite will form. Then nitrites will get oxidized and nitrates will form. In the first process, you had two bacteria, Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus. But in the second process, you have another bacteria, Nitrobacter. What is the name of the bacteria?
Nitrobacter.
Nitrobacter.
Very good. These steps are called nitrification. These steps are basically nitrification. And these bacteria which help in nitrification, they're called chemoautotrophs. What are they called?
Chemoautotrophs.
Okay. Let us do it. I said when dead bodies of plants and animals, they decay. What do they release? What happens? They release nitrogen? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Fine. Now, what we said is the ammonia that we have got. Ammonia we got from two processes, if you remember. Inorganic conversion of nitrogen to ammonia, which was known as?
Nitrogen fixation.
Very good. And conversion of organic nitrogen also to ammonia, which was known as?
Ammonification.
Ammonification.
Very good. Now, this ammonia that we have got, which was coming out of the dead remains, basically dead bodies, two things happen to this ammonia. A very little amount goes back to the atmosphere, but most of the ammonia is converted into
Nitrates.
Nitrites.
nitrates. Actually, directly, if we say, we can say ammonia is converted into nitrates. Or you can say ammonia is first converted into nitrates and then it is being converted into nitrates. Because ammonia actually gets converted into nitrates in the soil, but not directly. In the first step, ammonia gets oxidized to convert into nitrites, NO2. Name the two bacteria involved.
Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus.
Nitrococcus.
Okay. So in the first step, your ammonia has gone oxidized into nitrite. In the second step, your nitrites will get oxidized now. And then you will get nitrates. And which bacteria will help you?
Nitrobacter.
Nitrobacter. So whether it was the first step where ammonia was being oxidized into nitrites, or the second step when nitrites are being converted into nitrates, these bacteria helped us. These bacteria are called nitrifying bacteria. Okay. And what is the other name we have for them?
Chemoautotrophs.
Chemoautotrophs. So the ammonia which is released from the dead remains of plants and animals, it is not directly converted into nitrates, children. First, it is oxidized into
Nitrites.
very good. Formula for nitrites?
Nitrogen.